U.S. presidential candidate Ted Cruz is projected to win this week's Republican Party primary in the state of Wisconsin. But he was born to a Cuban father who took part in Fidel Castro's fight to overthrow the dictator Fulgencio Batista. CCTV's Michael Voss looks at Ted Cruz's Cuban roots and what the people of Cuba think of him.
Matanzas is a historic old port town about 100 kilometers from the capital, Havana. Its latest claim to fame is its connection to U.S. presidential hopeful Republican Ted Cruz, a Cuban-American whose father and political mentor Fidel Cruz was born here.
This is the street and this is the number of the house.
Ever since Cruz entered the race for the White House, the city historian has been trying to trace his roots, tracking down the family home.
What do you think of the prospect of Ted Cruz, President of the United States?
I think it's not good for us because it's not because he is against the Fidel, it's against the people, the old people.
As a high school student in the 1950s, Fidel Cruz joined the protest movement against the dictator Fulgencio Batista. Fellow student and revolutionary fighter Justino Baró remembers him.
Un luchador estudiantil.
He was a student activist and later went on to become involved in the insurrection, and because of that, he was taken prisoner.
Fidel Cruz was badly beaten in jail and left for the United States after his release in 1957. He later became a fierce critic of Fidel Castro, a view which has influenced his son Ted Cruz, who is bitterly opposed to President Barack Obama's engagement with Cuba.
Very few people here know about the connection between Matanzas and presidential hopeful Ted Cruz, but there is concern about what would happen to U.S.-Cuban relations with a Republican in the White House.
If there was a Republican, I think we would lose a lot of the advances, and that would be very bad for the relations we have achieved between the two countries.
We need a president who will continue good relations with Cuba. It doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat.
If you ask me about my favorite for the election, it would be Hillary Clinton, who appears favorable towards Cuba.
Matanzas may lay claim to the Cruz family roots, but is hoping it won't become part of U.S. presidential history. Michael Voss, CCTV, Matanzas, Cuba.